we talked about improving the selection process, and we also need to be able to have more flexibility on transparency of suppliers' past performance. One of the things that creates a difficulty for my work is that ECJ rulings have added to the complexity of life and usually made things more difficult, with some exceptions, as in the Part B services cases with Ireland. Now, this is also the case when I came back from my happy secondment in Paris. I found that we had to implement an ECJ ruling in the Uniplex case, which concerned the time periods for bringing proceedings for a breach of the rules. The court was unhappy that we said promptly, and in any case within 3 months, and also it was from the date when the breach occurred rather than the date when you knew about the breach. I mean, that second part was quite sensible. In our terms, we thought everyone understood promptly and within 3 months, but it wasn't regarded as precise enough. So we are out to consultation on that, and after we get the results of the replies to consultation, which cover 3 options for providing a precise time period from the date when the knowledge of the breach happened, we will make changes to the regulations. Now, I said that the process of the evaluation of the directives has started. And interestingly, that review, the various consultancies are going to report, and the review is going to be completed by the middle of next year. Now, under a separate process, the revision of the single market, which has now come forward from a document from the European Commission called the Single Market Act, that has set out various priorities for change. And this includes changes to public procurement directives, which we hope will be along the lines we want to achieve, and also that we get feedback and can move along on the negotiation process in that way. But it also contains other priorities as well. One of the things that the Commission is strangely obsessed by is the need to have a proposal on concessions. And because services concessions aren't covered by the detailed rules, they, for some reason, see a need to have a separate proposal covering those in the course of next year. There's no interest here from whenever I talk to purchasers about this, or from suppliers. CBI is not interested, for instance. So we will try and suggest that it's not a good idea to come forward with any detailed proposals in this area now, particularly as the review of the directives is going to happen in a fairly short time. Now, what's happening under the Single Market Act is that after people give the views on the priorities set out in this document, then there's going to be a green paper on public procurement, and that will ask questions about changes to the rules. And that process will take a part, it will happen next year at the same time as the evaluation's carrying on. So by summer next year, the Commission is going to have a clear idea, it hopes, of where it wants to go in the future. It will produce an impact assessment, and then with any luck, we will get proposals to change the public procurement directives, which we will negotiate in the context of internal market processes, co-decision procedure with the European Parliament. So we will be building up alliances to get as much flexibility introduced into the rules in due course. Sally helpfully provided this slide, some myths about the EU rules, which will in many ways, each of them provides a negotiating or a discussion topic in its own right. One of the interesting things that the Commission is concerned about, but I think the discussion of this is a bit overrated, is the fact that there's very little direct cross-border procurement. And I think I can remember discussing this with Colin in the past. Now, these figures haven't changed. They're very low. It's only about 1 to 3%, something like that. There is, of course, a great deal of indirect cross-border procurement. Interesting, one case that's come up recently, it's been in the High Court, has been on Eurostar and the choice of trains. That was a great cross-border case because the competition was between Alstom and Siemens. So in the UK, we've managed to produce some very good cross-border cases. But for me, the point, and as I've worked in the Treasury for a long time, and the alphabet in the Treasury starts with V, value for money, the gains from competition brought about by the rules are very important. If we didn't have the rules, we started from scratch, and actually it would be the European Court of Justice who developed the details of the rules, because they would put the flesh to the treaty obligations, which are underlying the detailed rules anyway. So I think we now need to go on and, as I say, negotiate more flexibility to the rules. There is a lot of indirect cross-border procurement, and in public procurement markets, people move into the market where they're going to be supplying and providing after-sales services, etc. There is actually evidence of a lot of cross-border activity where countries are close together, Ireland, Northern Ireland, and we all saw the figures recently about exports from the UK to Ireland and vice versa. So we very much welcome input to the process of reviewing the directives and the negotiation that will follow. Thank you very much.